All drills and exercises in this videotape are designed to develop fundamental skills. It is extremely important as an athlete or coach that you execute them with proper technique in order to avoid possible injury. To reduce the risk of possible injury, consult your doctor before beginning this exercise or skill development program. The producers, participants, and distributors of this program disclaim any liabilities or loss in connection with the information presented in this tape. This tape is copy protect encoded. Attempts to duplicate will damage this tape and may damage the heads on your VCR. Copy protect may cause the picture on your television to roll. To correct, adjust the tracking on your VCR. The FBI enforces criminal copyright infringement laws.
Hi, I'm Dan Young. I'm one of the offensive line coaches at the University of Nebraska. I and Milt Tenneper work with the offensive lineman. He does the run blocking and I do the pass protection end of things. I've been at Nebraska now 14 years. I started out as a head freshman coach, and after 4 years went on to as a varsity coach. And it's been quite an experience working with the University of Nebraska and Coach Tom Osborne. These last 2 years have been just sensational years, winning the national championship both years. We had quite a year in pass protection-wise. We were able to go through the entire season without giving up any sacks. Now, we run a lot of different pass protection schemes, but the basic fundamentals that I'm going to visit with you about today I think applies to a lot of different teams and a lot of different people. We'll talk about the fundamentals of pass protection, the stance, the hand position, and so on. We'll discuss different drills that we use, and then we'll talk about some technical things as far as blitz pickup and how to pick up twists and blitzes and so on. I'd like to discuss with you the basic pass protection fundamentals that we teach at the University of Nebraska. This past year we had an outstanding protection year in that we didn't give up any sacks for over 250 passes. Now, a lot of it probably has contributed to the fact that we run the ball a lot, keep people off balance, but there are also times where everybody knows we're going to throw the ball and they're coming at it pretty good, and done a real good job of protecting the passer and getting the ball thrown in some crucial situations. First of all, we've got it kind of broken down in about 7 areas that we talk about when we discuss pass protection fundamentals with our players. The first thing that we strive for is good balance. And the balance is in the stance and also being aware of the center of gravity as you move. First of all, the stance, we want a heel-toe relationship. We want our right tackle in a right-handed stance. That means his right foot is back and his right hand is down. And the stagger in his stance is going to vary according to how wide a set the defense is on you. Now, if we have a tackle with a fairly wide defensive player here, this being our right tackle, going to have his right foot down, back, and the right hand down, and the other foot up here. So we're in a right-handed stance, so we can kick out here to intercept the defender. It's very hard for you to do this if you were in a left-handed stance. So we want to get our right tackle in a right-handed stance. Now, if you're a guard where you're playing more of an individual on you rather than out on air, then the slide isn't quite as great. So now we don't have quite as big a stagger in the stance. And again, this is going to vary a little bit with the individual, but this is how we want to start out with our guards and tackles. Centers pretty much in a quick set because usually the defender is playing right on his nose. The other thing we talk about a lot is center of gravity, because as individuals move and slide, sometimes they get their weight too much backwards, too much forward, too much left, too much right. We're trying to stay low, keep a low center of gravity, but not let it shift too much left or right. And some of the drills that we'll talk about will work on keeping the center of gravity low. Another thing that we constantly talk about, keeping your toes upfield. So many times a player with a defender out wide here like we had before, his first inclination to intercept this defender is open to the sideline with his feet. So his feet are pointing out so and like so. And what happens is gives the defense a fairly soft shoulder to run to. And also, if you make a move out and come back under, you're not in a very good position to recover. So we're always talking about keeping the toes upfield. So as this individual, this right tackle, would slide out here, we want him to kick, slide, so he ends up with his feet upfield. And so when he intercepts the individual, his feet are fairly upfield and not opened up to the sideline. We want to try to get their feet in position to cover up the defender on him if you're a guard or a center. We don't want to block people out the side. If you're a tackle, you're going to slide and get position and keep him fairly much to the outside, but still keeping your toes upfield as much as possible. Now, there comes a point where they give you a hard rush, where they are working out where the defender is coming at you out in this position, and he comes around to the outside. There comes a point where you slide to him, keeping your toes upfield as much as possible, but as he runs to the outside, you're just going to have to then jump on him and ride him behind the pocket and try not to let him get to the quarterback. But we're going to try to kick, slide, get position. As he continues to my outside here, then I'm just going to get on his hip and run him by the pocket. But we're not going to open up too quick, because what's going to happen is if you open up too quick, like I said, you're going to get beat underneath. Another thing that's very important is keeping your numbers up. We don't want our offensive linemen getting their weight too much forward, and the easiest way to tell that is when the numbers come forward. We want the numbers up so we can see the numbers, so the center of gravity is down in here and not out over his toes. We want the center of gravity down in the middle of the body instead of out over your toes. So we want the numbers up. We want the head back. We work a lot on coming out of your stance, snapping your head up, getting the numbers up, head back. One thing about pass protection, that unlike a lot of positions in football, you can do a lot of work over the summer in doing drills without helmet. All you got to do is get shorts and t-shirt and go out and work on your feet, work on your hand position. And it's a good fun drill for the defense working against the offense. And it doesn't involve a lot of contact. A lot of it's just getting in proper position and not getting out of balance. The other thing is, eventually when the defense comes at you, we talk about what is strike. We want them fairly low, and we want to strike with the heels of their hand, and we're going to aim for the breast area. We don't want to get the hands out too wide so we're catching. We want it to punch up, and when we punch, we want to make something happen. We're aiming, as I said, with the back of with the heels of the hand, and we also incorporate a little punch in, step and punch, so that when we do make contact, we're coming forward with the foot. So we're making, when we punch, we're going to try to make something happen. It isn't that we're just going to lay our hands out on people. We're going to strike them, and so that when we do punch people, we try to make something happen. And we try to have individuals be able to step and punch with either hand, so they can step and punch here with the right hand or step and punch with the left hand. So they're, because the defenders will come at you in various positions, and you have to be able to do it both ways, so you can work on that thing as well. We talked to our players about being more like a boxer, not like a statue. I know a lot of offensive linemen I see, when they set up, they're just out like so, and they're just like a big statue moving around. We want our guys to get in position, and then when people come at them, we want to strike them and punch them. We want our feet to be alive, so that we get to a spot and our feet are alive and we're ready to punch and roll at people as they come to you. So we talk a lot about being more like a boxer, a puncher. Somebody's going to strike somebody rather than just laying your hands out on people. The last thing we work on a lot is sliding, getting to the proper position with your feet upfield, as I mentioned. Cover people up with your feet if you're center or guard, and slide to that position. Not open up, but slide 1 foot at a time, not be hopping. Just slide 1 foot at a time, be in position. And we want you to get there and wait for the defender to come to you. We don't want to pass protect somebody on the run. We want to get to a spot, beat them there, be in proper position. When they come, strike them and get ready to play. I'd like to visit with you about some of the drills that we're going to be working on this afternoon. Some of these drills we'll see with the players. Others I'll just briefly mention to you how we're going to set them up, so you'll be aware of what's going to be happening. The first thing is just getting our players off in a good stance and getting them in position to play football. Okay, here we're going over some of the basic pass fundamentals. Here's a tackle kicking out, keeping his right toe upfield. Here's a guard. Now here we're trying to get them where they don't slide as much and just get frontal, keeping the numbers up again. Here's a center where you get a little closer set. You got to get out of your stance a little quicker. And here he turned a little bit to the side. We try to keep him feet upfield as much as possible. Here's another guard. Good job at setting out and aiming for the breast there as he punch. The left tackle. Got a good kick slide out here, get good position. Okay, now we got a tackle with a little closer set. Now he just comes out of his stance and is ready to pass protect a little bit quicker, doesn't have to kick out as much. Okay, here's another tackle with a fairly short set on him. The next drill is a mirror drill, and what we're going to do here is take a defensive player and an offensive player, and we're going to have the defensive player just zigzag down the field. So he's just going to go so and move like in that fashion. Now as an offensive player, I'm going to stay in position. I'm going to be sliding my feet. I'm not going to be hopping. I'm going to slide my feet. So as the defender moves, we're going to kick and slide, kick and slide. So we're in position. When the defense changes position, we're going to do the same thing. We're not going to be crossing over. We're not going to cross our legs. kick and slide, and so on. We're going to mirror him going back, so we're always face up on him. We're covering him up with our feet. Our feet are upfield, and we'll always got our center of gravity low. We're looking up into the defender's eyes. The next drill is a reaction drill, and what we'll do there is have two dummies about 3 foot long and about 4 to 5 yards apart, and put the defense on one side and the offense on the other side. And what we'll do is have the defender go back and forth to his left or right, and then at some point come forward and try to bust through that opening. The offensive guy is going to come out of his stance and mirror the defender as he goes back and forth. Once the defender decides to fire through, then we want the offense to get in position, get his feet in front of him, and the side he's coming on, step and punch with that foot that he's coming through on. Then the last drill is a balance drill where we'll hook two players up and work on balance and center of gravity. We have the defender grab the top of the defense grab the top of the offensive jersey, and the offense guy sets out, looks up in his eyes, and grabs the defender's jersey. And we have the defender jerk him left, right, forward, and backwards. So when he goes left or right, we just try to mirror him, not get off balance. When he pulls it forward, we try to set out and just go with him. When he pushes backward, we try to resist, drop our butt, and extend our arms and get pressure on them as they try to push us backwards. Okay, this next drill we're going to do is just having our linemen come out of their stance and counter someone that's going to grab for a shoulder. So we're just going to counter the hand that's coming forward. So this is the first part of using your hands and countering the defense, what they try to do with you. The next thing we're going to do is talk about a swim now. Here he's reaching, and we're countering with our left. And as the hand comes over, we're going to drive him right in the rib cage and just drive him out of the way and let his momentum take him out of the play. Now this is going to be a club move where again he's going to reach and then uppercut. Again we're going to counter the reach and try to jab that hand in the rib cage to try to turn his body and let the defensive momentum just take him out of the play. Here we do a little more live. Again, he just turns his body as he reaches, counter it, and then drive the other hand again in the rib cage and getting a good turn. Okay, the next segment of the tape where I'd like to visit with you about is twist and blitz pickup. A lot of times, the most important thing you can do is study the opponent's films and see what kind of twists, what kind of blitzes each team likes to run. Because most teams have certain kinds of blitzes, certain kind of twists they like to perform. And so it's important for the player and the coach to study what you're going to see and what you're going to see in different situations. What I want to talk about here are just some basic things that you're going to see most every game, and some of the ways that we pick them up. In most of these cases, I cover up 3 of the linemen, and this is again something you can do during the summer to give you a lot of different situations about different kinds of rushes that you could possibly see. But the first thing in getting the players in the right frame of mind, they have to think the total picture, not just think about blocking the person in front of them. They have to think about the total picture, what they're seeing, what could possibly happen. And if you assume there's going to be a twist, it's a lot easier to pick it up. It's kind of like when you're playing baseball. If you assume they're going to see a curve and you get a fastball, sometimes it's easier to adjust. But so you assume that you're going to maybe see a twist, and if it does happen, fine, you're ready for it. If not, you're just ready to play and block the man in front of you if you just give a straight-on rush. When we do see twists and so on, anytime you have two people next to each other like so, there's a likely chance that that can happen, especially as you get into more and more of a passing situation. The thing we talk about in picking up twists is, number one, we try to get our players to work on the same level and not have one offensive guy jump upfield, one guy drop back, or one guy is a lot deeper than the other. We want to try to get them on the same level, so when they do switch things off, and we try to switch off all these twists, that we're not one guy's taking over, one guy this 2 yards back. We want to keep them on the same level. And so then as you switch the twisters off, be aware of what you got, whether you got somebody slanting on you or you got somebody looping on you. Okay, let's just take an example where they're all covered, and say you get some kind of a twist where this tackle comes down hard inside, and this end comes upfield and comes over in this manner, and the nose just rushes like so. Okay, we're going to try to get everybody off on the same level and seeing the whole picture of what's happening. Now in this case, this guard has a guy slanting out on him, so he's going to help the tackle who's going to take over for this tackle slant. The offensive left tackle is going to take over for this tackle, take this tackle slanting into him. So they got to get off the ball, see what's happening here. And this guard sees that he's got the slanter. He's going to help the tackle a little bit, push him off. And then the tackle sees he's going to have the guy looping, so he's ready to come back and take this guy over. The guard goes with him a little bit, then comes back and takes this guy looping over the top. The center just mans up, knowing that this tackle could slant to him. In this case he isn't, and then just pick up here. We're forming a pocket here and not have any gaps in here. So the main thing, as I said, is get on the same level, see what's happening. If you got a guy that's slanting, help out your partner. If this guy has a guy looping on him, look for somebody coming back to him and take over. And when you take over, again, make sure your feet are upfield. Don't get caught with your feet to the sideline. It's hard to take over, and don't get on different levels. As I said, we could have this happen, and they could slant the tackle here, bring the nose back here. So now we're all getting off on the same level. We're looking at all three people, seeing what's happening. Tackle's on his own now. In this case, the center's coming off. He sees the nose looping on him. He's ready then to be aware of somebody slanting to him and picking up this. The guard, see, he's got the man that's going to slant one position over. He goes with him for a little bit, helps the center, pushes him off, and then comes back and picks up the looper. So we're all just working together. We're seeing the whole picture here. Sometimes what we get is a double slant, like so, with the nose looping all the way around the outside. Again, just getting off the ball and seeing the whole picture. The center comes off, see he's got the looper, be ready to take over. This guard's coming off, this looper goes all the way over the top. He should be able to see this, both guys next to him, to his right and to his left, and be ready to take over here. This tackle comes off the ball, sees he's got the slanter, he looks for a looper coming over. He can help the guard a little bit on the man slanting to him, and then come off and pick up the guy coming looping over the top. So again, we're trying to not create any holes in this pocket, try to keep this solid in here, try to pass everything off if we can. This last case, sometimes we see ends that get extremely wide, and to intercept them, the tackles sometimes have to drop and get on a different level. If he's this wide, this tackle's got to get a fairly straight set back in here to intercept him. And we want him to intercept him and get to that position and wait for the man to come to him. So as you're kicking and sliding to this position, this man's stance is going to be in a left-handed stance. He's going to kick out with this foot here and so on, and work down to a position where he can intercept this wide rusher. Now in this case, we will make a call if we're going to man up on this end out here so the guard gets a little bit more aggressive. And what happens sometimes is even though they're wide like this, we will still get a delayed twist. So we might get something like this where he comes here in this end rather than being a hard rush on the outside, we'll make a move upfield and then come back over. When we have that situation where the tackle has to get considerably deeper than the guard, we'll have the tackle jump this guy fairly aggressively so the tackle can slide underneath and pick him up and man it up rather than switch it off. Again, the center would be ready for a twist in here with the guard. If he just gets a regular rush, get in position to pick it up. So those are 4 different things that we work on with everybody being covered. Okay, a lot of times in our blitz pickup, we'll get defense that has 50 type spacing that I've indicated here. And a lot of your pass protections, some of you will read this backside linebacker as a hot read and not block him. Other times your pass protection schemes will be such where you'll be slide protecting and protecting the backside with the guard and tackle. Now, in some of our pass protection where we'll slide or we'll read this linebacker here as a hot read, and if he does come, the quarterback knows he's going to dump the ball to a particular receiver. And what we want to do is block our big guys, and there are 2 big guys that are sitting in that position. And there are about 3 different things that we oftentimes see happening here is that we'll get this kind of a move, he comes upfield, he comes like so. The end comes underneath and the tackle comes upfield. We tell our guys, whatever comes inside, our guard's going to take. What comes outside, our tackle's going to take. So they get on set here and just read what's happening. So if this tackle comes upfield, this tackle's going to pick him, and the end comes underneath, the guard's going to pick here. Sometimes we'll just get the double slant. So again, the tackle's going to pick what's outside, and the guard takes what comes inside. And the third thing can happen is where the end comes first, we'll come out here, the end comes hard through here, tackle makes a move upfield, and then he's a contained man. So they're coming off again, the guard and the tackle read this. As this end comes hard, the tackle will help a little bit, push him off, and then come on out and pick up what comes outside, and the guard's going to be ready to take what comes inside. So those are the 3 different things that we work on with 50 type spacing. Okay, some other situations that we oftentimes see that we work on is just a pure blitz out of a spacing where the center's covered and the tackle's covered and the linebacker's sitting on the guard. Where we have those 3. And sometimes we just give them straight rushes. A lot of times we'll give them some kind of a twist or a blitz, like say where the tackle, this playing on the center, comes underneath and this linebacker comes off here. Again, just working on getting to the same level, reading the defense, looking at all 3 people, picking up the guard, picking up the tackle, slanting to him, and the linebacker and the center picking up the linebacker, Xing with the tackle, and the tackle just picking up the end. But you can see all sorts of possibilities that we could possibly work on here. We could again work on the linebacker, just a straight plug like so, or we could work on some kind of a slant here and a plug back here with him coming here. In this case, again, we're just going to read this. The guard's we're going to see the whole picture here. We're going to pick up here with the guard, pick up here with the tackle. And we're just blocking 3 on 3. A lot of times we will have a situation where we'll have the guard cover, the tackle cover, the linebacker on the guard, and then some defensive back or an extra linebacker coming up showing blitz. Now, when we see this look, we're going to involve the center backside. so that we have 3 people to block their 4 people. Now, obviously, if they all 4 come, we're going to be short. But we work a lot on the reads that we're going to get in this kind of a look, and we'll see this look quite a bit during the course of the season. So what we're going to do is involve our center, backside, and working with the guard. We're not going to ever get the tackle out to block the end man, because about 3/4 of the time when this end man comes in the line of scrimmage, he's actually just bluffing and he's going to drop back into coverage. So we don't want to waste our tackle out blocking somebody that hardly ever comes. Besides, we want to keep our tackle on their defensive end, block big on big, not put our tackle out on a defensive back that's maybe is going to come or maybe not. So what we're going to do here is to have the guard and the center work together on this backside stack. So these two are thinking these 2 people. So we get some kind of plug like so, then the center is going to take what comes inside, the guard is going to take what comes outside, and this tackle is just going to base up on the end. Now, if we do get them coming like so, well, all 3 of them are going to slant, the center's going to come off, he'll pick here, we'll keep the tackle on, this guard's going to get off, and they're first of all going to read what's happening with this stack, and you can't linger very long. They got to make a quick decision and go with it. So as soon as they read that we're not going to get that blitz, then the guard's going to check out back here. And if we do get him coming off the corner, the guard's going to be in position to pick it. If they're just going to come up there and bluff, and he's going to be standing there, the guard's going to come off. If he drops in the coverage, the guard comes back and helps the center on that 2 technique. Okay. The other case that oftentimes we see happening is this, and this is a little bit more difficult one, but it does happen, and we have to be prepared for it as well. Again, we're going to work the center backside with the guard. Our tackle is going to stay on here. And what oftentimes we'll see also is they'll bring the defensive back or an extra linebacker off the corner and also run a twist here, like so. Now, what we try to do in that case, we're getting off here, getting off here, getting off here. If they don't read that linebacker coming, then the guard's coming off to pick here. Now, each of these guys are just protecting an area. The center has this area, the tackle has this area, and so they're just going to switch that off. So if they do run this, the center's going to come over here and pick the end coming. Tackle's going to come off, help as much as he can, but then comes back and pick up the tackle like so. So we'll get that picked up, and you can work on the twist the other way if you want to, and then bring the back off the end. So these are some common looks that we get out of the 4-2 spacing with a possible blitz coming off the corner. Okay, what I wanted to visit with you about here is just this is an inter squad scrimmage. Here we have a twist on the guard and tackle, and the pickup of the tackle and the guard switching it off. Here we have a twist on the 2 guards. Center just gets off the ball, gets the cushion, and the left guard and right guard switch man. Here we have a double slant between the tackles and guards. Both pass off, and tackles take over, and the guard takes the person coming to them. The next segment of the tape has to do with off-season drills, and I think we do a great job with our linemen in the off-season. We spend a lot of time just jumping rope. Here, just 1 foot at a time. And this is an offensive guard. This is an offensive tackle here, crossing over a line. And this is a kid about 6'6" and about 300. You can see his coordination. Here again, we got the guard now on one foot crossing over a line. Here we have both feet, side view, crossing over a line. Here we have the side view of a player coming down the line, just working sideways. A lot of our work in the offensive line is going sideways, and this just helps the coordination. Here's a sideway skipping rope on one foot, crossing back and forth over a line. This next drill is going backwards down a line, and a lot of the work, you know, and being an offensive lineman, being able to back up and being coordinated as you go backwards and not falling back behind. We do a lot of running ropes. Here we run through, hit every other square. And now we'll try to hit every square, trying to work on quick feet, being able to pick up their feet over bodies and be fairly quick about it. Next is just going through it sideways, picking up the left foot and leading over. A lot of times as you move left and right, you have to be able to pick up both feet, and this is a good drill just for picking up your feet and going left or right with it. This next drill is with pylons, and all we're working on here is kick, slide, slide, keeping toes upfield, keeping down, and being fairly quick about it. We have a little punch step, punch as he gets in the middle of it, so just kick, slide, kick, slide. Okay, then the next thing we do is go through it similarly, only we go through it going backwards. Again, getting that lead kick step is very important here to get everything going in the right direction. This drill is really good for tackles, and because they have to go out and pick up people. Okay, we do a lot of bag drills, picking up their feet. This first one, we're just going to run through it. This is a linebacker shuffle, again picking up the right foot and leading over the bags. We're going to do it with the left foot, leading over first. This is a shuffle drill where we're facing the bags, kick, slide, slide, kick, slide, slide with a punch in the middle. See, he gets his rear end down good and some flexion in his knees. His torso is pretty much straight up, not leaning out over his toes. Here's a back up, shuffle, and then come forward. So back up, shuffle, forward, back up, shuffle, forward. Punch as you're coming forward. Back up, shuffle, punch coming forward. Again, we'll try to keep their knees bent, rear end down. Okay, the next drill is going through it backwards. So we get a good kick step here. Kick, slide, slide, work your way backwards, punch in the middle. We don't really emphasize a lot of speed. We like to get a pretty good pace, but do it good technique, toes upfield, good kick step. Okay, this is a drill we like for working on their hip flexibility and picking up their legs. First of all, we're just going to go straight down the hurdles, picking up every other leg, coming straight forward. The hurdles are right next to each other. This has been an excellent drill in getting our guys a little bit more flexibility in the hips. This is our tackle. He's a little taller, but same thing is working on the hip flexibility and getting the knees up and not being stiff in the hips. So much of blocking is done being flexible in the hips, and this drill has really helped our hip flexibility. Do the same thing sideways. Again, working on the hips, getting the knees up. and doing this fairly good pace. Going the other way now, leading over with your right foot, working on the hip flexibility with our tackle. Okay, the third drill we do in the hurdles is going underneath them, and this is really a good drill for the hips and the flexibility. This is a pretty big body going underneath that little short space, and this has really helped our linemen being more flexible in the open field and really help their hip flexibility. We tell them not to put their hands on the turf, just go underneath and duck under and come right back up. In closing, I'd like to thank you for buying these tapes and using them. I'd like to have you tell your friends about it, because I think this all goes to help you and your friends be better football coaches. All these things we've talked about are things that we really use on the field and have helped make us be national champions the last 2 years.